What weightlifting shoes should you wear? Well, I'm gonna show you right now. Okay, so determining what proper weightlifting shoe to wear is really kind of simple, okay? So a lot of shoes similar to these, which are OGs, a lot of people like using these, tend to have a lot smaller of a heel height, where something like a Velasa shoe tends to have a much higher heel height. So the first thing we're gonna look at when trying to determine what weightlifting shoes we're gonna wear is what kind of mobility are we dealing with? Do you have tight hips? Do you have really mobile hips? How flexible are your ankles and how much dorsiflexion can you get when the knee is going over the toe? So typically, if you have really good mobility, like someone like me, you're gonna wanna use a smaller heeled shoe because your knees are naturally gonna go over your toes more, and the added heel height is just gonna pick it up more and push everything forward. Where someone like Haley Reichert, who is a Pan Am champion, tends to like to wear Velasas because they have a slightly higher heel height and it helps her get in those better bottom positions. There's a lot of different shoes out there on the market that advertise as weightlifting shoes, but something like this Adidas shoe is technically not really a weightlifting shoe. It's more of a cross trainer. They call it like a power lift shoe. It's gonna be a lot flimsier of a shoe, made from cheaper material, and the heel's always gonna be really small and short. This is okay for, you know, high schoolers in the weight room that are just trying to get introduced to weightlifting shoes, but if you're gonna get into squats, cleans, or anything like snatches, I wouldn't recommend something like this. The Adidas Addy Power, I don't know if they make these anymore. I don't think they make that exact model, but this is a great weightlifting shoe. It's really sturdy on the bottom, and it provides a nice solid heel height, which is really similar to the Romaleo 2. Which is everybody's favorite weightlifting shoe. I think you find it hard to argue that these aren't the greatest weightlifting shoes ever made, but that's personal opinion. Something like a Velasa is also a really new weightlifting shoe, which has a really hard bottom. It's a really rigid front too for the toe. A lot of people like that for planning in the split jerk. That way their foot doesn't roll around this way. And the unique feature about the Velasa is that it has a wooden heel. Doesn't really add anything except maybe a little bit of weight to the shoe if you like a really heavy weightlifting shoe, and that's also similar with something like the Reebok Legacy Lifter. They're a heavier weightlifting shoe if you tend to just like the feeling of your feet really grounded. So how versatile are weightlifting shoes? So I honestly would recommend weightlifting shoes for anybody who's doing a snatch, a clean, a squat. That's pretty much it. Everything else, I don't really think you need a weightlifting shoe for. I would stick to like a Metcon or a cross trainer if you're doing running, jumping, anything like that. But definitely when you're squatting and doing Olympic lifts, I would definitely use a O-lifting shoe, no matter what kind of athlete you are. So one of the other big factors of Olympic weightlifting, shoes, let's say you don't think about mobility, you don't think about flexibility, you don't think about any of that stuff. A really important part is comfort. You want to put on the shoe and you want to be comfortable in it. I've tried so many different weightlifting shoes in my long weightlifting career. I've competed for over 11 years. And I specifically remember certain shoes that I would put on and they would hurt my feet. And I'd be like, oh, I'd break them in, I'm gonna break them in. You're not gonna break them in, they just hurt your feet. They're not good for your feet. Comfortable is a really big part. It doesn't really matter what heel height it is or anything like that if it's not comfortable to you, because you're gonna have to lift a lot in them, you're gonna do a ton of reps, and you're gonna have a lot of weight pushing through the shoes. So make sure that everything is nice and comfortable. All right, so last thing I'll touch on is, like I said, the Romaleo 2 is everybody's favorite weightlifting shoe, but you can't really find them anymore unless you're gonna spend $1,000. So recommendations, I actually use the Romaleo 2 still to this day, but I have other brands that I really like that are very similar. The Anta is a really good weightlifting shoe. It's very similar to the Romaleo 2. It's really heavy, similar to the Romaleo 2, and it has the exact same heel height. You can still buy these. I think they're like 200 bucks. This is a really great option. Also, Velasa has a little higher of a heel height than the Romaleo 2s, but it's very subtle, and these make a great weightlifting shoe for anybody looking to get into heavy squats specifically. The other shoe that I would probably recommend is the Adidas. Any Adidas weightlifting shoe that's not the cross trainer, I would recommend. They just have a really high quality shoe. They're known to be well made and withstand a lot of force. The one brand I don't recommend is the Romaleo 3 and 4. These are not good weightlifting shoes. All right, so if you want to get these shoes, right, the really fancy ASIC ones that everybody wants, you could probably find a pair on eBay. You're not going to find any retailers that sell them unless you go to some place like Japan. Any of the Nikes you can find on their website, Amazon, Velasa.com for the Velasas, or eBay. If you want to get the Romilio 2s, I would recommend eBay. You can sometimes find him on hookgrip.com, but he's always limited in sizes because he picks them up whenever he can. And then the Antas you can buy on hookgrip.com, or try to get them secondhand from eBay. A lot of times you can find most of these shoes secondhand on eBay. Even if they're a little worn, it's going to be a much better option for you than spending $200 to $500 to $600 on a pair of weightlifting shoes. All right guys, so if you want more videos like this, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below with what video you want to see next. Also, make sure you download Peak Strength, our new strength training app, at peakstrength.app. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.